Well, good morning again. I thought I would share a story with you today about expense reduction in your business and why you should be careful about it. And I think this story is going to illustrate that pretty well. If you're anything like me, my grandfather grew up in the Great Depression, so saving and pension pinching is kind of built into my upbringing. So it's very hard to get away from immediately going to expense reduction for every time there's a problem or things get tight or what have you. So this story is going to illustrate why that may not always be the best choice. You should focus on revenue more than expenses. There's some famous gurus out there that says any monkey can trim expenses. Growing revenue is much harder. And there's some truth to that. So here's the story. True story, by the way. I worked with a gentleman. He used to work at glass factories, and he told me this story, and I thought it perfectly illustrated what goes on in many instances in businesses throughout America. So this glass factory had a plant manager, and the plant manager was running everything smoothly, and like many manufacturing businesses in America, the plant manager position anymore is just a figurehead. It's a place for career development, what have you. Luckily, most of you that are in small businesses, you don't have that problem, but same rules apply here. Anyways, plant manager was doing really well. All the numbers look great. The vice presidents and presidents were happy, and since he seems to be quite developed, we're going to go ahead and just, sorry, I had somebody crawling on the phone there. Since everything seems to be very, very good, the plant is producing well, we're going to promote him out of there and take him up into corporate. So that's exactly what they did. It's rare for someone in that position to stay longer than 36 months. So he got promoted. So they bring in the next person to develop them. We'll call him Plant Manager 2. Plant Manager 2 was given the keys to a very well-ran facility. Numbers were looking great. KPIs were all within the bounds of what they should be. So how is this guy going to make a name for himself? He had to do something. He had to improve. That was his goal. He was there to be developed, so he must develop. He must make a change. What's he do? Cut expenses. Cuts expenses. Now, many of you may have had a background in manufacturing. If you do, then you understand that manufacturing is a dinosaur. No one wants to be in it anymore simply because the capital cost and the maintenance cost is so high. People still need tires. They still need automobiles. They need everything else. That costs a huge amount of capital to actually set up and build those things. And the maintenance cost is high too. So what this individual did was he started slashing the maintenance budget. For any of you HVAC contractors working for facilities, you understand what that's like. Once they start cutting that, it's hard for them to give up any money. So he starts slashing that budget, and pretty soon he's starting to throw up numbers that look really good. He's running the plant, getting the same production value, and it's costing him even less to do it than the guy before. So what happens? He gets promoted out of there. Now, as you can imagine, the equipment and the facility can get by with little to no maintenance for a while. But it's your time right now. It's going to be my time after a while, says Buddy Guy. And sure enough, the equipment says it's my time, and it started to break after he left. So Plant Manager 3 gets in there, and he gets to be developed. But his experience is not the same as everyone else's. He's handed a plant that is degrading rapidly. There is no money, because budgets are predicated on the year before, for the equipment. There is no money to hire extra technicians. There is no money to do all these things. And if he by chance decides to change these things, he's going to have to tell someone at corporate, hey, this last guy really screwed up, and that's really a no-go politically. And the other thing is too, he's going to admit to them that I'm not as good as the guy before me. So he's going to sit there and he's going to flounder for his entire stint at this facility while the facility continues to go down. He's eventually going to have to admit to corporate that, hey, what's going on here is not right. You're going to have to actually not only allocate the right amount of money, but even more than the correct amount of money, because we're going to have to start doing repairs that were beyond the scope of natural maintenance because it's been going on for so long. And corporate's going to get really upset, and they're going to promote him, but they're not going to promote him to a good position. They're going to promote him out to the island of misfit toys and plant managers, and they're going to ostracize him, and he will no longer be developed anymore, and he will retire out of that spot that he goes to next. So then they finally, corporate gets their head together. They go and they evaluate the plant themselves. They realize, oh wow, what a mess this is. This is what it's going to take, and they install Plant Manager 4, and Plant Manager 4 goes in there with all the budget that he needs. He fixes the place, gets it back up to running like it should be with a level budget, and then he gets promoted out of there, and the cycle starts all over again. So I said all that to illustrate this point. Cutting expenses is not the end-all be-all. Revenue generation should be way more important than your expense cutting. When it comes to expense cutting, you really should focus only on a few things. Go in, and if there's low-hanging fruit, take it out. But don't go looking further up the tree. You're really going to put yourself in a bind in the future, and it's really going to hurt you. And if you're a business who has multiple levels of management, you need to make sure that you have this expectation across all levels of your organization, because if these middle managers that you have start getting a taste for expense cutting blood, so to speak, they're going to start slashing stuff to make themselves look good. The most difficult thing that we have today in businesses is these KPIs, key performance indicators. And what happens is that when we set those as leaders, as presidents, as CEOs, we don't fully think all the way through them. Everyone is naturally selfish, and everyone on their level is going to sit there and game the system. They're going to do whatever it takes to meet their KPI. Most likely, that KPI you set for them is not best for the organization as a whole. And you're not thinking through these when you set these up. And this is a big, big problem. And it's causing problems in your organization that you don't even realize. So, back to point, expense cutting. Yes, if you see large, obtuse things that need to be cut, go ahead and cut those. But don't go hunting down every staple and piece of paper. Just stop. Focus on revenue generation activities instead. Your activity will be much better spent doing those sorts of things. Okay. See y'all later.